You're listening to the Dragon Between podcast, a 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons campaign set in the Eberron pulp fantasy setting created by Keith Baker. New episodes are recorded every Sunday and released on the following week. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel for clips and future episodes. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter for updates and news on the podcast. And now on with the show! When we last met, a group of mercenaries were congregating in Shemukar, a popular local tavern nestled in the underground town known as Kyber's Gate. After a pit fight turned deadly for the barbarian, the group defeated 3 ogre brothers and gained the attention of a minotaur who introduced himself as Duncan. The horned gentleman then explained that his patron from the Zesh Guild wished to hire the party for a small task, to visit a nearby shop called the Wounded Dragon, and retrieve an illicit substance called dragon's blood. The characters accepted the errand and immediately set out together, vowing to return with the cargo. The group found the shop with little effort and began to case the establishment, finding the front door locked and barred shut. As they scouted the perimeter, the group encountered 2 large mimics that appeared to be the doors to the loading dock entrance. The characters dealt with the creatures swiftly and then headed inside the warehouse section of the shop. They began to investigate and discovered some sort of strange lift platform centered in one section of the shop. The platform was activated and then sent down a long elevator shaft into the darkness below. The group continued to check the rest of the shop, entering the selling floor and encountering the store's security measures in the form of several deadly constructs. After a frustrating battle, the party looted several valuable items in the shop and found a small device locked in the upstairs office. The device appeared to control different elements in the shop and summoned the lift platform back to the warehouse. The group then descended down into the bowels of the shop and discovered a corridor at the bottom that led to an artificer's laboratory. The characters narrowly avoided the deadly traps that protected the lab and encountered an armored warrior and several bug-like constructs. The battle was fierce, but the characters were victorious, destroying the lab's guardian. The party then found 2 chests, one filled with vials of dragon's blood, and a smaller one filled with dragon shards. After the group attempted to claim the chest of dragon's blood, they activated a trap that put most of the party to sleep. Unaffected by the gas, Scorched roused his companions, and the group headed up and out of the Wounded Dragon. The group arrived in the alley just behind Shemukar and waited for their employer. After a while, Duncan appeared on the back of a large metal beast and congratulated the party. The Minotaur was true to his word and paid the group well for their efforts. The characters were then left to their own devices with a pile of unidentified magical items. They then reached out to a local member of the Order of Orion for assistance and discovered an agent of the Order called Vesper. Vesper then invited the characters to visit her near Ash Black on the border of Kyber's Gate. The group took advantage of Vesper's hospitality and then headed topside to the Cliffside District to sell some equipment off and find a potential buyer for the dragon shards that they had acquired in the lab. The group found a helpful hobgoblin in Trollskull Alley called Zinfel. The proprietor was just about to close up for the evening and head to the Trollskull tap room floating above Sharn's welcome when they had arrived. The party completed their business and were then approached by a gargoyle messenger that summoned them to a townhouse for a potential employment opportunity. After seeking refreshments at the tavern and reading a letter from a mysterious Lady E, the group summoned a sky carriage and headed toward their destination. The helpful Warforged driver identified himself as a member of the Order of Orion and shortened the journey considerably with magic once he realized that the party was also members of the Order. Upon arriving within the district, the party noticed that the front gate to the townhouse was hanging open. The group then left behind their helpful sky carriage driver and observed a shadowy figure standing in the open townhouse door. In the middle of the street, you see before you the outer stone fencing. This tall wall, 8 feet tall, that stretches along the compound of this townhouse. The townhouse itself is, from all appearances, appears to be one level, but appears to be much taller than your typical building, potentially with vaulted ceilings inside. There are large arching pillared areas off in the distance around the edges of the building. And you can see trees, tall trees growing. In the darkness, you can see them stretching up over the walls. The gate itself is hanging loose and open, and one of the doors appears to be hanging off of the actual edge of the fencing. As you get closer to the exterior of the building, you can see that something definitely looks wrong with this townhouse. You see that the main door is open, and there are scattered debris in front of the door, and several of the windows in the outer facade appear to be smashed open, indicating that something violent occurred here recently. And you see a shadowy figure that moves in the doorway, and as you approach, you can hear the sound of a woman screaming somewhere inside of the facade.
Do you hear that? We should go investigate.
And if you like, I will share a map with you all.
Thank you.
All right. So you're outside, just outside of the gate. And looking through the gate, you can see that doors open. You've seen some shadowy movement inside. It's dark. Right now it's approximately... Oh god, did I just hit the exit button? I hope I didn't.
It's one of them nights.
I may have just hit the exit button, guys.
And we are getting off to a good start.
Right?
Oh yeah. Between my computer being screwed around with, her internet connection not working, and you accidentally closing out of Fantasy Grounds. And Devin got kidnapped.
It may not have taken. Okay, I think it didn't take. Okay, good.
And Devin's back, but he has himself muted.
He does have himself muted.
I had to change to my laptop and move outside.
Ooh,
Oh, goody.
nice.
I can't wait to hear the block party. Okay, so right now it's your best guess. You're thinking that it's in the wee hours of the evening. It's about approximately 9-ish. So it's dark outside. There's ever bright lanterns lining the streets, the poles lining the streets, the cobblestone roads. And you are all currently within what is considered the dragon marked House Enclave section of Middle Central Plateau. This is where a lot of the Enclave houses are. This is where many of the nobles within the Enclaves have homes. And you are currently you're currently located in an area known as Parlin Tower. Right on the edges of the tower, that's where rings of townhomes on the edges of this particular level of Middle Central.
We're going to have Twinkle lead the way in there and see if she can scout it out and see what's going on.
Okay.
We'll be close behind. I'm going to follow in behind her, Alistair behind me, and we're going to put Scorched in the back. Because I have a feeling Scorched is not quiet.
Probably not. Alright, Frax, you're moving up to there?
Yeah, I'm gonna sit there by the door as Twinkle runs in.
Okay.
Let me make a stealth roll.
Okay, Twinkle, so as you move into the room, you see a humanoid individual brandishing a weapon and standing ahead of you a bit. And she is staring in your direction.
Twinkle, you see anything?
There's a big person.
What are they doing?
Looking at me. She might eat me.
Does she see you?
I think so.
I can hear you too.
Twinkle, as you sort of recoil from the sound of this sort of hushed noise of this woman speaking to you, you start to hear another noise as Vrax starts to move past you into the townhouse. And there appears to be rustling noises coming off from two chambers to the east and the west, just ahead of you. Sort of splitting the difference between you and this strange newcomer. And just beyond this newcomer, you see more movement. As some armored individuals are now heading around the corner, around this corridor off in the distance, weapons drawn, coming towards you, towards her. I need everyone to roll initiative.
There's more people.
Let's eat them all.
You're not there, Alistair.
Listen, last I heard before I left was I was following right behind Vrax and Twink.
Nah, you're not. You're out in the courtyard with Scorched.
Then I'm licking Scorch's armor then.
That doesn't sound weird. Shit, I heard that. Somebody just died.
There was a rain cloud and then death.
Alright, has everyone rolled initiative or waiting on anyone?
Nah, we've all rolled.
Okay. Look at that. Newcomer bringing up the rear. I like it. Okay. So, Twinkle, it is your turn. What would you like to do?
All right. I'ma hide right where I'm at, behind the big thing.
Okay. Twinkle is hiding currently. So go ahead and roll a stealth check for me, Twinkle. And that's what you do as your action. You're just hiding. Because you can use the bonus action to hide.
I'ma move as well.
Okay. Where would you like to move?
That way.
Okay, so Twinkle, as you begin to move around the corner and turn and look, you see two armored, emaciated warriors standing with their backs to you.
Nice.
And I will reveal them to you.
And as you do, I will end my turn.
Okay. Gotta see if they actually see you, because you never know, they might.
They might. But they probably won't.
I doubt it. You rolled a 26. They'd have to roll, like, I don't even think with a natural 20 they could see you. To be perfectly honest. But you never know. Let's see. Why the heck not? We'll see if they notice you. Yeah, nah, fam. They rolled a natural 1. They have no idea that you're there.
That she's about to eat them.
And Varax, it's your turn. Your little friend just sort of slinked off into the shadows and disappeared.
I'm gonna rush forward to that room and roar.
Okay. As you begin running past Vrax, you hear a sort of a guttural sound of something yelling to the east. Just as you run past this open area into another area, you glancing that way as you rush past, you hear this guttural voice that just sort of yells out,
"By the blood sword's crimson blade."
I slam on brakes and change direction. That sounds fun.
okay? And I will reveal that room to you. And you see 3 individuals, all emaciating but wearing armor and weapons drawn. They watched you start to trudge past them, and they're all staring in your direction now, drawing their weapons and brandishing them.
Pulling out my longsword, I will ignite it, and end my turn.
Okay.
Well, longsword.
Longsword. And Scorch, it is your turn. You just watched Vrax stomp off into the household.
It's Alistair's turn.
Oh, is it? Oh, I apologize. I thought it was... I thought it...
I feel the love, Jeremy. I feel it so much that I'm going to cock my head. What was that sound?
You can make a perception check, you know.
I think that was the sound of a
my passive half the time.
Okay. Well, your passive is pretty high. Your passive is a 17, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, you're noticing the distinct lack of large lizard man and tiny goblin girl. They seem to have moved on ahead of you. And as you peer around the gate, you're seeing all these broken windows in the front facade of the building. You see the open door, and you can just see Vrax squaring up, and there are some armored individuals within a chamber ahead of them, and it looks like they're getting ready to tussle. And as you move towards the door, before you cross the threshold, you see another individual who's standing within, and beyond that individual, you see even more of these emaciated warriors with weapons drawn that look like they're getting ready to rush towards you, or towards the individual in front of you. You're not sure.
For the moment, Alistair's just gonna sit kind of peering in the doorway, just cocking his head back and forth creepily, kind of trying to get gist of the situation.
Okay.
And that will end his turn.
Scorch, it is your turn.
Scorch is going to make his way up the path with Alistair.
Okay.
He's going to enter the building. He's going to shout out, "We received a letter from Lady E." And see if that does anything.
Okay. Duly noted. Scorch, as you were rushing towards the house, you managed to look over to the right, and you watched as armored individuals had just started to move around the edge of the house, the compound, with weapons drawn, heading in your direction.
Would I have noticed that?
Let's see. With your passive perception of 9, you would not have. You would have. You have seen some movement.
Alright, Scorch is gonna enter the house anyways.
Okay.
And that's where he'll end his turn.
All right. Let's see. Carnathy's skeleton. Let's see if he can actually observe that anything is going on. The other guy rolled a natural 1. Oh yeah, he rolled a 12, so he turns around, weapon drawn, and he starts stalking forward. And rushing past Twinkle, you, as you're sort of hiding behind this little bit of a curtain that's along the edge there. And he's moving past you. Do you want to do anything to him?
Can I take an opportunity attack?
I would say yes. If he's moving away from your threat range, you can totally take an opportunity attack against him.
Is it advantage since he doesn't see me?
Oh yes. He does not see you, so therefore your attack would be at advantage, and you would get sneak attack on your opportunity attack.
Then I would love to attack him.
Okay. Now keep in mind, you're now breaking your hide by attacking him.
Yep.
Okay. Well, if you want to target him and attack him, go for it. I don't think you targeted him. And you missed.
Aww.
Unfortunately. He rushed past you as you slashed out with your short sword. And he trudged forward. He did not notice you attack him, strangely. Vrax, this rotting creature begins trudging towards you, and he pulls out a longsword and he yells out,
"You are no match for the blood and soil of Cannith."
and as he does, you can see that as he gets right up to you, you can see that there's a stench to him. Just a foul stench of decay. And he takes his longsword and slashes down on you, attempting to attack you. And his first longsword attack, cutting across, you just manage to come within millimeters of his blade as he skates off the edge of your muscular frame, taking no damage from that. He then turns around and attempts to lop your head off, swinging forth with his longsword once again. And just managed to move your body away from him just a little bit, just enough to get out of his swing. He's swinging hard, though. This is a hard swing. He's trying to hit you as hard as he possibly can.
Now that they're within range of me, can I attack them back?
Well, did you hold your action? Or did you just move?
I didn't state I did, but I wanted to just double check that.
I would say that because you did not state that you're holding your action, unfortunately you wouldn't be able to act yet.
Well, that's fine. I'll just think about doing that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah, just make sure you do that in the future. All right.
Cool.
At the end of the hallway, the Carnathi zombie is now running forward, straight towards you, Adelim. And he uses his full movement to get to you. Longsword out, drawn, rushing forward at high speed. This look of just pure malice on his face. And the other one behind him, weapons drawn, is also going to rush towards you.
I still have shield active, right?
Yes, you may put that effect on yourself if you like. I don't know if it's on you right now. It may not be. Oh, nope, it's on you. Aha. and the other zombie, Carnathi zombie, quite unlike any undead you've ever encountered before, Vrax, he begins stalking and shifting sideways, holding his sword up with both hands raised, and gets just behind you and attacks at you with advantage. It's a strange sensation seeing undead, clearly undead creatures with this intelligence not about them, not trying to bite you as you've encountered zombies in the past. This one actually growls as he swings at you, and once again attempts to spin around. Once you just managed to duck out of the way from his swing. His next attack swinging downwards this time, attempting to slash you, and he just manages to connect and gouge into your chest, rocking you, dealing a mighty blow to you. And you feel the sting of his steel as it slices into your flesh. And Adalum, it is your turn.
I'm going to use Firebolt on the one behind me.
Okay, you can go ahead and target him. Remember how to do that? So,
I just click him?
Control left click. After you have yourself clicked, you can control left click to target him. There you go. Oh, you untargeted him. Gotta do it again. There you go. Unfortunately, that is a natural one. Adalum is in a panic as you see these two armored, decaying warriors rushing towards you with weapons drawn. You spin and you try to gesture, but you just can't get the gestures and the vocals right. And you sort of cough a bit from the bit of blood coughing up from earlier from your the pile of bodies that you crawled out from under.
Okay.
Would you like to do anything else, Adalum?
I'm gonna swing and a hit at the same guy then.
Okay. Is a firebolt a action or a bonus action?
You're right. It's an action, so I'm good. I'm done.
Okay.
Can I do any movement, or will they be able to attack me?
They both have their reactions still, so you're fairly certain that if you attempt to break away from them, they will both try to swing at you.
I'm good right here then. Gross.
Okay. All right. Just outside, Alistair, as you peer to the right, you can see now an armored, decaying warrior sees you, has his weapon drawn, and he is rushing towards you. And he just manages to run up on you. And as he does, he says, with a guttural cry,
"For Khan and Cannith!"
And that's all he's going to do on his turn. Off in the distance, Scorch, you can see is another armored warrior comes around. This one a bit more emaciated than the others before. Moves around and pulls out a bow. Running down this corridor, he skids to a halt and pulls out a bow. Strings it. And let's see. I would say that you have some cover, Adalum. Looks like he's getting ready to try and fire at you, but he's going to try to fire through the guy that he's that's in front of you. So I'll say that you have cover. We'll say you have 3/4 cover on this. So he very quickly, in quick succession, attempts to fire at you twice, knocking an arrow And you just hear the sound of as arrows, 2 arrows, one sinks into the ground and the other one sinks into the bit of armor plating on the side of the one that's directly in front of you, the disgusting warrior. And Alistair, it is your turn.
I'm going to run my hand over my quarterstaff and use my bonus action to cast Shayla on it. And I am then going to proceed with the now brine-covered quarterstaff to hit this dude in his ugly, rotten face.
Okay.
My hand slips a bit on the grass. Fuck!
As you turned around and readied your weapon, you were a bit shocked as this strange, clearly decaying warrior is within your threat, your range, and he has his longsword drawn. And he's getting ready to take a swing at you, and you were a little bit off put by this sight.
I'm going to then use my reaction, which it's the reaction on my turn, to use Halo Spores to do 3 measly damage to him.
Okay, how's that work?
Starting at 2nd level, you can launch toxic spores at other creatures. To do so, use your reaction on your turn to deal 3 poison damage to 1 creature you can see within 10 feet of you.
Okay, your Halo of Spores goes off. The spores begin coming off you, almost like perforating off of you and off of your quarterstaff, and exploding around him, and he just stares at you with an evil look. And you can see the skin cracking as he's smiling. It has no effect on him.
Fuck you. I admit.
Okay. Vrax, it is your turn.
Okay, after taking that damage, I'm going to go ahead and activate my Rage and my Feeding Frenzy.
All right, well, let me put your Rage onto you. I have to add that macro to your character. There we go. And it is activated. And what do you do when you rage?
When I rage,
Yes, sir.
I'm going to attack.
No, I know, but what do you do to announce that you are now raging? Because this is clearly a manifestation of you being pissed off, clearly.
This really gets my goat.
Okay. As you...
Seriously.
Apparently, it got your goat, but not enough. Yeah, but
Whoa,
it
my
got
second attack, I hit.
It definitely didn't get your goat that time. As you slash out with your flame tongue sword, cutting into the armored skeletal creature. It just barely had time to pull up its sword to catch your sword the first time you swung at it, but the second time you just bash its sword away and cut clean through into the creature.
Also, Jeremy, my fire damage is not on my flame tongues.
That's because it has to be built into it, sir. So you can just
Alright,
we can go ahead and just roll the extra damage, and I'll throw it on there.
Sure thing. It was 2d6.
Yes, 2d6 flame damage. All right, so that'll be 7 more damage to the creature, if I'm not mistaken.
And using my Feeding Frenzy, I will now attempt to bite the hell out of it.
Okay. So your large, toothy maw splits open.
It's one of them days.
It's gonna be one of them days, isn't it, Vrax? But
Yep.
still, you managed to dealt a heavy blow as flame cascades off of your blade and momentarily lights the creature's body. But you can just see that its desiccated form, the flame immediately starts going out. Does that complete your turn?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Whoops. Let's go back to that guy. I think I hit the next turn button at the same time you did.
Yeah, probably so.
Adalum, down the corridor, you see even more movement as more of these emaciated skeletal creatures are rushing around the corner.
Ah, jeez.
Joining its companion, drawing its bow out. And in quick succession, attempts to plug you with an arrow. Because that's the thing it does. But again, you're getting 3/4 cover because of the fact that there's another individual in front of you that's not one of your friends. So in quick succession, 2 arrows are fired down the hallway. One goes wide and plugs into the wall, and you just hear the thunking noise, and the second one flies down, arcing out, and also plugs into the ground about a foot away from your foot. And the Carnathi zombie is now taking his longsword and with a look of just pure evil and death takes his longsword and attempts to strike out with you against you. You just watch as the longsword slashes across, and the side of your shield just this energy that managed to rebuff his attack, and he once again slashes out, and the energy once again. Oh gosh, is your... Oh wow, yeah, okay, he hit you. Your AC is 14, correct?
With the 5 because of shield.
Yes. So he rolled a 22. So you feel the steel bite into your arm as he just manages to cut into your arm. That arm is, you sort of droop a little bit like you're about to drop your weapon, but then you steel yourself and you're staring back with a bit of a wince. Twinkle, it is your turn. The skeletal creature in front of you looks like it's starting to look around the room. And from behind you, you can hear the sound of your companion Vrax, who appears to be being attacked on all sides by these creatures.
I'm not hidden from the one in front of me anymore, am I?
You're not hidden at all. You revealed yourself when you attempted to attack that other creature. So you're currently standing there. The curtain is opened, and you're not sure yet if the creature sees you or not.
I will hide.
You'll hide as your bonus action? Okay. You go ahead and roll your stealth. I went ahead and rolled his check to see if he would notice. He doesn't notice you. He's still scanning the room, but it looks like he's getting ready to turn around and look in your direction. He hears the sounds of battle in the chamber beyond. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna sneak up on him like this.
Okay. He does not notice you, so your attack will be at advantage. Now, ordinarily, when you hide, when you move, after you've hidden, you have to roll another stealth check. So, why don't you go ahead and do that? Not sure. Oh, I see what you had the advantage on.
The advantage was hit. My bad.
It's okay. He still doesn't notice you. Even with your, the other one, the 12, he still doesn't notice you. So this diminutive goblin, you come skidding up to a stop just in front, from behind the creature, and stabbing out with your dagger. You manage to catch it in an area. You hear a bone break. And you just hear this creature sort of hiss and this sound escape like, ah! And it is now turning around to face you. Now, I should remind you, you used your bonus action already to hide.
I will end my turn.
Okay. Zombie number 4 is continuing with his longsword to attempt to strike you down. They've all sort of crowded around you now, Vrax. And he brings his longsword down against your body, attempting to slash you. You just manage to move just outside of the sword as it swings down, thunks into the ground. He pulls it back up and attempts to slice once again into your frame. But very, very carefully you've managed to twist this way and that way as he's brought his sword down onto the ground. Just taking chunks out of the marble, and you can see the sword is now getting dinged up from slashing and smacking into the hard surface. The other one now sort of shifts himself and is pulling his longsword out, and he says,
We shall feast on your flesh.
and he critically hits you as he slashes forth in an arcing slash across your back.
Crit, huh?
But you partially resist it. So whatever this attack, it seemed like it was a mighty blow. You just sort of shrug it off and begin turning to look at the creature with a look of malice in your eyes. No fear in the creature's eyes in response, though. The Carnathi skeleton now turns around and now stares at your diminutive form, Twinkle, and it says,
Yeah.
and it swings its scimitar down, attempting to strike at you. And you just watch as this wicked curved blade slashes forth, attempting to cut into your body. You manage to twist your body sideways as it does. It once again tries, this time in an uppercut fashion, to slice at you with its sword. And it just manages to connect as you feel a bit of pain as this cold steel cuts into your flesh. From outside, just beyond your attacker, Alistair, you can see that the other warriors are now closing the gap and getting closer to you. And the zombie 3, Adelum, is now shifting himself with his sword out, very carefully pacing around you. And he then attempts to attack you, this time with advantage, with his companion across from you, flanking you. And in quick succession... Well, I didn't target you. Whoops. The first attack definitely did not connect. So we'll see if the second attack connects. This time, unfortunately, the attack just manages to get through your shield, slicing into your back now as you spin, trying to stop the attack from connecting. And you can feel now it's this heavy attack cutting into your back, getting through your armor, cutting into your armor and potentially cutting the back of your armor to pieces. Vrax, you watch as the other skeletal creature now rushes, all four of them now, seemingly dogpiling on you. Using these sort of almost pack-like tactics to slice into your body with their weapons. I don't think a 17 hits you, did it?
Not at all.
I didn't think so. But it's still fun to ask anyway. Because you never know. I have crit you twice now, apparently. So no, in quick succession, even with this the help of his undead companion, this creature is not able to cut into your body, into your flesh. You just managed to shrug past its attacks. And now, Alistair, you watch as the third individual is now rushing forth. And they seemingly have you surrounded now. Nearly surrounded. And Scorched, it is your turn. You were watching as just absolute mayhem has broken out within this place. The sounds of armor being hit with weapons and shields. The sound of blades slicing and clashing with other blades.
Scorch is going to go up to the stranger, and he's going to try and push this creature away from her.
Okay, you're just going to try to push him away?
Yes.
Okay. Make a strength check. Strength versus strength, sir.
Is this strength or is this athletics?
It would be I would say this is a strength check. Okay. Where would you wish to push him? And how far do you want to push him? You get a little bit of movement left.
I'll push him 5 feet towards the door.
Okay, so you're grabbing him and you're pushing him. Because it's kind of hard to push him like towards the exit you came into, or are you pushing him to the east?
Or I'll push him to the east.
Okay, so just 5 feet. He's still going to be within range of her.
Yes.
Okay. So you manage to push him out of the way as you sidle in next to this newcomer, Adalum. You see this mechanical warforged creature. The whole front of its body seems to be blackened. And he just rushes forth with his both hands, pushes this other individual, this undead creature away from you. And Alistair. Whoa. I didn't mean to do that.
I am mini Alistair. Feel my wrath.
I just made you really tiny. That is hilarious. If nobody noticed that.
I did. It was cute.
I kick them in their shins.
Didn't
I
mean to
can't
do...
have anyone tinier than me.
Oh, uh-oh. I think Twinkle's coming for you next. If you guys survive this fight.
I'm about to eat you.
I gotta get the fuck out of here. Twinkle's gonna eat me.
So in quick succession, this Carnathi zombie with its longsword slashes out and it manages to hit you, cutting into your body. And then once again attempts to slash into your body, Alistair, with its longsword. This time, after taking the brunt of the hit, this cold steel slicing the sting of the pain of the sword into your skin, you just manage to shift your body just a little bit, and it swings and nearly hits its companion. Within the house, in quick succession, these undead creatures now are attempting to attack you, Vrax. Vrax is doing the job that he was meant to have, apparently. Soaking up attacks.
Oh yeah. I'm not even sure they can hit me outside of a crit.
Well, that was another critical hit.
Isn't that cute?
I swear I'm not using hacks. I am so sorry. But that's okay.
Yeah.
Because
I'm rolling 2 1s in a row.
That's okay though, because even though this creature hits you hard, like cut into your body, you're just shrugging it off.
Technically speaking, I can't die until my rage ends anyway, so they're fucked.
Yes, that's true. And the other zombie now is rushing down the hall. Fast as it can. Scorch, you just watch as this undead creature is now moving as fast as it can to get to you and sidles up next to this newcomer with his long sword drawn. And Adalum, it is your turn. You are beset on all sides by undead creatures, and this Warforged out of nowhere has pushed one of them away from you, the one that was slicing into your back.
Here's a question.
Yes.
For my character, I have this ability called Turn Undead.
Yes.
I just can't find it in my, to actually cast it, but I have that ability.
Okay, so the way that works, it's not like something that you just do. It's just like basically all the undead that within range, they have to make a save against your spell save DC, I believe.
Yeah, it's within 30 feet, a DC of 15, a wisdom saving throw.
Okay, so it's creatures that you can see or creatures that can see you, correct?
It's just within 30 feet that can see or hear.
Okay.
See y'all.
Well, I will say that for all intents and purposes, the creatures that are currently fighting Vrax don't notice you. So the ones that are directly... Let's see. I'm going to draw a nice pink bubble. 30 feet, you said, right?
Yep. They just have to be able to hear me.
Okay. Well, in that case, if you can select all 4 of the ones that Vrax is currently fighting, and the ones that are around you, and you can roll wisdom saves on all of them. So, I'll tell you what. I'm just gonna, just for ha-has, I'm gonna roll a flat wisdom save and say it counts for all of them. Okay. It's a wisdom save, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Wisdom save. What's your spell save DC?
15.
15. All right. Well, that's a 5. So what happens when that occurs? What happens? They have to move away from you? They're full speed?
They all dash. Yep. They have to leave.
Okay. And they'll get to repeat that, I believe, on their next turn, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, this one is going to rush as fast as it can outside past Alistair. Alistair, you just watch as a horde of armored zombies and skeletons are now running outside.
This lasts for a minute or until any of them are harmed.
Okay.
Opportunity attacks against all of mine.
Well, you only get one.
What?
You only have one reaction.
I grab my sword and spin.
So choose wisely. Which one would you like to get an opportunity attack on? And Scorch, you could take an opportunity attack against one of them as well.
No, hold on my reaction.
Okay. So Vrax, as these creatures suddenly, all 4 of them, just get this look on their face. Their mouths agape, and you watch as the one that has been just nettling you and trying to stab at you and slash at you, you manage to catch its head off of its shoulders, and its head rolls out of its helmet as it scatters across the floor and its body crumbles to the ground. And the others run past you. Oops. And just go screeching out into the night. Out of the facade. And you're not by yourself. They all took off. Just the corpse of the one that you have just destroyed before you. Adolm, you also
hell?
beyond beyond you can still see the other two with their arrows now, and looks like they're getting ready to knock arrows and fire them in your direction, Adolm.
I look at them.
You still
Is
have
that really necessary?
You still have your movement.
I'm gonna move to this corner.
Okay.
And for bonus action, I can use Healing Word on myself.
Okay. You reach up. Saying your incantation, you might want to untarget all those creatures before you roll that. Here, let me help you out. Oh, never mind. You got it. So you reach up and you whisper an incantation, your eyes slowly closing slightly, and you can just feel this healing energy wafting through your body as your wounds are starting to knit themselves. And is that the end of your turn?
Yeah.
All right. The skeleton now kind of looks a little confused as it sort of turns and looks slightly to the left as it's watching its companions are rushing out of the house, away from the house. And then it turns back to you, Alistair. Same look of malice in its face. And
Alistair's just gonna shrug in confusion.
It just kind of like had this look as it was raising up its weapon against you. Like it was going to hit, and it has this look like, what the? And then it turns back to you, its brow furrowed, its skin cracking. Actually, no, this is a skeleton. There's no skin. It manages to slice down into your body, cutting you, and you feel the sting once again, this heavy hit as it strikes you. And then once again attempts to slash across your chest, this time in an upward arc, and manages to cut into your shoulder now. Cutting again, this time yet another hard hit, as you're feeling yourself bleeding from several wounds all over your body now. And Twinkle, it's your turn. The skeletal creature, you just heard this strange sound of like creatures yelling, just sort of and the sound of feet stomping through on the hard marble floors, and then out the door. And now this creature is looking at you with malice, getting ready to slice you again with its scimitar.
I hide.
Okay. Make... He's looking right at you, so go ahead and make a stealth check. With disadvantage because he's staring right at you. You're right in front of him. So go ahead and roll that again for me. Okay. Would you like to do anything else?
I'd like to hit it.
Alright, let's see if he notices you. He looks confused as you manage to, within the shadows of this room, lesser light, the darkness, you just manage to sort of slink around a bit and sort of slough. He's looking at you, but he's like kind of confused. So yes, you are hidden from the creature. That is a hit. As you stab straight forth, stabbing the creature in the chest. And just watch its ribcage explode. And the skeletal creature falls to the ground, dead, once again, from its previous life. You all hear this terrifying cackle that echoes throughout the house.
I'd like to munch on one of the bones.
Okay. That's a free action.
I like to think it's part of the sneak attack.
In quick succession, Scorch, as you turn to look, you watched as these skeletal creatures just bum rush out of the household. As you turn to look, you can see now a bit of relief is momentary as this skeletal creature is knocked an arrow, and 2 arrows in quick succession come straight at you. The first thunks harmlessly into the wall a few feet away from your head. The second arcs out and again hits a candelabra, the light on the wall, and just flips end over end after striking the candle. And Vrax, it is your turn. You are by yourself.
What the hell? Come back here.
Okay. As you head around the corner now, you can see that Alistair is completely swarmed.
I can move 10 more feet, actually. I'm going to move 5 more feet straight forward.
Okay.
That way I'm, like, physically blocking up the doorway.
All right.
I'm going to grab Alistair and say, come on, and throw him back behind me.
Okay. That is, if you want to use your action, you can do that.
Yes. Alistair is being thrown down the hallway with great strength and speed.
Make a strength check. Let's see how far you throw him.
I'm an owl. I have very, very light bones.
All right.
Not very far at all.
His foot catches on the carpet, and you just manage to throw him just behind you.
That was with advantage, Jeremy. What's up with these ones, man?
I have no idea.
Yeah, what's up with my AC being hit exactly 2 times?
Hey, these guys are tough. You've never faced a Carnathi warrior before.
But then I vanish right in front of his eyes and then slash for the kill.
Does that complete your turn, Vrax? You are now standing in the door jam. You just grabbed Alistair and hurled him behind you. He tripped over the carpet, fell onto the ground, and now you see all these warriors are now turning to look in your direction. 3 of them are looking directly at you, kind of quizzically, like what's going on, and then the rest of them have their backs to you as they're running away.
I'm going to take one more step outside, so I'm not blocking so I'm still blocking the doorway, but not inside the building.
Okay.
And I'm drinking this potion of growth.
Oh, you're drinking a potion of growth? Okay.
Yes, sir.
How's that work?
I gain the effects of an enlarged spell for 1d4 hours.
Wow. Let's roll a d4. Let's see how long this lasts.
And he's hung.
Oh no.
I should mention you no longer fit. You're no longer small enough to fit in that door jam.
That's why I stepped out 5 more feet.
You will be
that
this.
Door jam is still blocked.
You're fairly certain. I'm just gonna move these guys just a little bit. You're fairly certain that. Come here. You're fairly certain that this is going to last you a while. I'll just go ahead and say, for all intents and purposes, this is going to last for at least 2 hours.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to move you, just stutter step forward a little bit. And
as long as I'm still completely blocking that doorway, we're good.
And just like the Hulk, Vrax, you swell up. Your muscles bulging. Your voice is a little bit more guttural than it was before. And these skeletal creatures don't seem to really know what to think.
Don't want mentors.
I believe I can throw that effect onto you, if I'm not mistaken.
Cool. What kind of effect does that have to damage?
Give me 1 second. If I believe if I add it to you as a macro into the combat tracker, I believe it will just do its thing. Let's see.
Awesome.
Might be something as simple as just typing the word enlarged. If only that worked in real life, right? I am now enlarged.
It's damn convenient.
That's what she said.
Saves on Viagra.
Viva Viagra.
I like Alex's comment. We're now having an official Godzilla moment. If only I could breathe fire.
Yeah.
Should have picked a dragon. What are they? The Dragonkin or Dragonborn or whatever.
Was that the potion of giant's growth you drink?
Yep.
Mmm. Gosh. I think yes, I can just add. You know what? You don't even have to do that, that macro, by the way, Kevin, for your flame tongue. I can actually add that to the combat tracker and turn it on and off.
Oh, cool.
Alright. Well, I guess it isn't a macro, so we'll just say we'll just have to do what it says that it does for each time. So it makes you bigger, and I believe it makes your attacks hit a bit harder too, if I'm not mistaken. Correct?
That's what I'm reading now.
Okay.
My size is now large.
Alright. I added the D6 to your character sheet, so now, or the 2D6 to the combat tracker, so now you don't have to add that into your damage anymore.
Okay.
So I'll go ahead and fix that. There we go. Okay. So it should, when you roll your damage, it should automatically roll the fire damage on whatever you attack.
Okay. And I do 1d4 extra damage with my weapon while I'm enlarged.
Nice. Alright. Well, let's see what happens now.
I'll just put that on my weapon temporarily and then take it back off when it's done.
Alright, so because there's so many of them, I will roll the wisdom save. Correct? It's a wisdom save. DC 15, correct, Adeline? Is that a yes?
It was a 15, yes.
Okay. They all run screeching into the street. Away from the compound.
One of them drops his purse.
And Godzilla stands guard at the door.
I believe you haven't used your reaction yet, correct?
Me?
Yes. Or have you?
That is correct.
Alright, would you like to attack one of these as it breaks your threat?
Which one is about to break my threat?
Carnathy Zombie 6 or 1?
6 it is.
6 it is? Okay, go for it. That unfortunately is a miss.
I'm a little slower now that I'm bigger. Had to adjust.
Yeah, these guys are... For all intents and purposes, they are gone. They all ran off.
Oh no, they're coming back in a minute. intend to kill every single one of them right here at this door.
Okay. Alright, I'm not even gonna bother to keep turning those guys invisible. Just do that. I just like how essentially this person who you guys have never met before just clears this room.
That's what clerics do, man.
It's true. So Scorch, this other skeletal creature, which can no longer see its prey, now sees another target in you, and is going to fire 2 arrows in your direction. But they're rolling 1s. See, some of them still roll 1s. It's not just the DM. Yep, neither one of those arrows connect. They thunk into the ground. There's now a collection of arrows sort of haphazardly, rakishly tilted to the side as they're thunking into and actually sticking into the marble before falling over harmlessly.
Pick those up. They're worth money.
This Carnathi creature now, pulling its sword, seeing that its original prey is gone behind you, is now going to raise up its blade and attempt to strike at you. And very quickly, in an X pattern, slashes across your chest, attempting to slice into your body. Both times, it's connecting, but it's your thick scales just rebuff his longsword. The blade turns slightly and doesn't slice into your skin.
The word you're looking for is massive pectorals.
Alistair, you are currently on the ground with a hulking behemoth of a lizard man in front of you.
Alistair's gonna stand up, and he's going to reach into his cloak, ruffling his feathers a bit, and he is going to grab out a potion of healing. Pop the cork off, lift his head up, and just chug it down.
Okay. Would you like to do anything else? That was your bonus action.
No, I will call that my turn.
Okay, so you stood up, pulled out one of the crystal vials, popped the cork off, chug it. You can already feel yourself being knitted back together. And Adalum, it is your turn.
Oh boy.
Grasping your holy symbol, you can feel a little bit of a tickle, as you can feel something sort of jumping back and forth now on your shoulders. And you hear this sound as sort of like a creaking little... as Myrrh is currently excitedly squawking in your ear.
I rub his little chin. I scratch his little chin to keep him calm, and I look over the corner to see if the guys down the hall are still there.
Okay, as you peer out, you can see that the 2 skeletal creatures are still there with their bows drawn, and you can see a collection of arrows in and around the area around this Warforged creature, which is now staring down the hallway towards them.
I'm gonna attack them separately with magic missile.
Okay. Would you like to move into the hallway so you can see them?
Yes, and then after I'll move back.
Okay.
Smart.
So you move into the hall, raising your hand up, gesturing, incanting, blazing bolts of energy arc across and start slamming into these armored skeletal creatures, causing their bodies to sort of rebuff backwards.
You did damage to yourself.
Ha, sweet.
You have yourself targeted there, Adeline. So I'll take that damage off of you. There you go.
Have I still selected myself?
Yes. Hold on. Alright, you'll have to target them. There you go.
What happens when you
You'll
touch
have-
yourself?
You'll have to target them again. There you go. And once again, your arcs of energy, these pinprick bolts of light, coalesce and release from your hand. Just a few millimeters from your hand, they burst into existence and bash into the creatures, and you watch them being rocked. Bits of their armor are flaying off, bits of their bone are pulverizing, but they're still standing. And they look like they're getting ready to drop their bows and pull their swords.
I go back into the hallway. This is exhausting.
Yeah, but one more dart you can throw.
Oh,
Would you like to throw your other dart?
yes.
Okay, go for it. All right. Once more, before you slip behind the somewhat safety of the wall, you let another bolt loose as it crashes into the skeletal creature. And Scorched, it's your turn.
Alright, Scorch is going to move up 10 feet, and he's going to wait as he sees that they're putting their bows away.
Yeah,
He's
they're
gonna,
they're
meet him
dropping
back
they're dropping their bows in the ground, and they are pulling their swords, their scimitars out. And it looks like they're
in.
getting
So I'm
ready
going
to
to hold
rush.
my act.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm going to hold my action until they get up to attacking range.
sure. You're holding your action. Outside, the Carnathi zombie, staring up at the massive form of Vraxgrokna, pulls his longsword out and attempts to slice at you thusly twice. In a cross pattern. End over end first, managed to skating across your thick, scaly hide, not connecting, not doing anything. It once again in a cross pattern, crossing from left to right, slashing and scraping across your thick hide and doing nothing. And Alistair, it is your turn.
Alistair, knowing that now he can now do nothing because the door is blocked, is going to make his way up here and see what's going on.
Okay. You see down the hallway, you can see two skeletal warriors drawing scimitars. Scorched is squaring up with his back to you, staring down the hall, and just to your left you can see a woman with golden eyes, and there's a little bit of movement around the back of her head next to her hair. You think you see something for a moment, and then it's gone. And her eyes, she is shifting, looking around, and she looks to you a bit confused as you approach.
Hello, non-fur person. Rare to see someone not as extravagant.
And he looks the things that Scorch is packing. Is there a clear view on any of them?
Yep, you can see one of them. The one is the slightly closest to you.
What number is it? Because I can't expand my map upwards, so everything up there
That
for
would
me is like...
That would be Carnathi Skeleton 6, and if you'd like, I can target him for you.
If you would be lovely enough for me.
He's always lovely.
There you go.
I am going to use Ice Knife, and I'm going to try to shank a fool.
Okay, is that a You can throw that, correct? What's the range on that?
It is a projectile. It is ranged, and its range is 60.
Okay, it's just out of your 60 feet, so roll that attack again. At this time, I'll count your next attack as your disadvantage, and we'll take the lowest. Okay, so
no matter what, that hit.
No matter what, you hit. And this bit of ice forms into almost like an icicle with a curved edge, and you just arc out with your hand, and it flies across the room past Scorch. Scorch, you can feel, and you can almost see a trail of almost snowflakes coming off of this thing as it slashes into the creature's body.
Hang on, folks. It's not done yet. Everything within 5 feet of that now needs to make a dex save.
Okay.
And if you can target everyone within 5 feet, I do have the save on here.
All right. The creature made an 18 for its dexterity save.
Well, I was going to say, I actually have the save on here. I just didn't know if anything was close to it.
No, that's okay. I rolled the save for you.
Yeah. It doesn't take any damage on the dex save. I was only not sure because it's everything in 5 feet, not just it. So,
well,
like I said, I can't see.
There's only one thing within 5 feet of it.
Okay, good.
Okay.
And that is the end of my...
So your ice knife, after sticking into the skeletal creature, for momentarily it just vibrates, and then it bursts harmlessly. And the creature is covered in a little bit of snow. And let's see if the creatures outside, if they're continuing to run off into the distance, into the night. Yes, they are all continuing to run off into the distance. And Vrax, you can no longer see the fleeing creatures. Adelim, it is your turn once again. You see this strange creature in front of you that appears to have wings tucked behind it, and it's wearing some sort of strange mask that appears to be made out of a deer's skull, and its eyes glow slightly.
All right, more friends, hopefully. I lean out, or is he in my way? Can I not lean out anymore?
He's kind of in your way right now, so you can move out into the... You can just move past him as long as you're not in his space. And as you do, you can see Scorched is standing in front of you now, squared up. I should mention now, Scorched, you lost your held action.
But did they not go yet?
Yeah, this is a new turn.
Oh, that's fine.
That was the two outside that still had to go.
I'm going to use Sacred Flame on this one. When I still have targeted. And as I do so, since Alistair's behind me, he can see Myrrh peeking out from, like, through my hair, looking at him curiously.
Alistair, you see what looks like, what color is Myrrh?
Mostly white with blue accents. I mean, not blue, brown accents in his feathers.
Okay. You see a little owl's face poke out of this woman's hair and stare at you. Kind of tilt its head 45 degrees and then back. Okay, the creature saved successfully on your Sacred Flame.
It's still radiant damage, so it only gets half damage, I believe.
Let's take a look at Sacred Flame. I don't know... It's been so long since I was a cleric. Saving throw or take... They know... Yeah, it doesn't take any damage if it saves.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah, it's not... because it's a cantrip, it's not one of those spells where it's going to take any damage, even if it saves.
That's fine.
But I will say, keep in mind, because you are 5th level, when you do roll your damage, you roll 2d8, not 1.
Yes.
Yes. All right.
I move back.
Move back.
Yeah.
You shift back around the corner. Outside, the undead creatures are now continuing, frustratingly so, attempting to connect with their longswords. And Vrax, you just watch as they pathetically attempt to slash into your thick hide and just keep missing. They're now hitting the ground, they're hitting the cobblestone. It's just like this slowly, like, dog pile attempting to hit you, and they're just hitting nothing. They're not connecting at all. And
as it should be.
Carnethi's skeleton now is going to use its full movement to get to you, Scorched. And Vrax, it is your turn.
Very well.
You see these now appearing to be a bit tinier in stature to you now. You feel taller. In fact, the top of your frills on the back of your head are kind of being tickled by a little overhanging candelabra, like Everbright lantern that's currently not lit. It's broken. You slash forth with your longsword flame tongue, and the fire trail just sort of cascades, flame licking off of it as you slash into the creature, dealing heavy damage. And then once again slash once again straight forward into the creature's body, and you just watch as the creature is bisected.
Be gone, vermin.
And for a few moments you can see that its body, the front half is trying to crawl a little bit, and then it stops moving as the flame continues to like spread on its body.
And I stomp it into non-existence.
Is that the end of your turn?
That is the end. Something died.
Scorch, it is your turn. The skeletal creature has drawn its scimitar and charged down the hallway straight towards you, looking like it is getting ready to slash into your body as it skids to a stop in front of you.
I will turn and slash at it with my longsword that will form out from my right hand and skewer right into it.
Okay. There's a pneumatic hiss, a sort of like a as your longsword emerges from where your hand used to be.
Alright. Well, with that, I will end my turn.
Oh, you missed it. I'm sorry. As you pulled your arm up and attempted to slash into the creature, it just managed to pull its sword up in time to catch your longsword and deflect it away. And Twinkle, it is your turn. You are all by yourself in this little parlor area. You can hear the sounds of battle, which are weaker now, lesser. It's not the cacophony of the sounds of weapons slashing into armor.
I throw the bone off away from me, and I hide.
Okay. Alright, you are currently hiding by yourself in a room all by yourself.
And then I will move.
Okay. Just a suggestion, Twinkle. Instead of hiding every turn, I would just say that you move stealthily. But if you want to continue to keep attacking with your sneak attack, you will be able to use that each time if you hide first.
Okay.
Okay. As you slink off into the room, the sound of your feet barely registering as you're running down the hallways. And as you veer around the corner now, you can see a lady who is leaning up against the wall, her chest heaving as she's breathing heavily, a bit of blood trickling around the side of her face. You can see Alistair standing nearby next to her with his quarterstaff at the ready. Just beyond Scorched, you see one skeletal warrior, and then down the hallway you see another one who has drawn its scimitar, looking like it's ready to rush down the hallway.
For my action, I would like to move again.
Okay. Used your... I believe... What's your max speed is 40, right? So you can move another 40?
Yep.
Okay, you can take using your movement action Go right ahead.
It did a thing.
I see that. You can still move it. There you go.
And I will end my turn.
Okay. Outside, the war of attrition, these undead creatures are continuing to slash into you. They're just over and over again not connecting, but they are diligent and frustratingly so refuse to die, all die and run away from you, Rax, with your mighty bulging pectoral muscles. This skeletal creature is sort of screeching in your face as it, again, over and over, slashes with its sword over and over again, and once again, missing you, hitting the door frame, slashing into a bush, cutting a branch off. And the other hallway, one at the end of the hallway, is now going to rush its full movement to you, Scorched. And that was the end of its turn. Holy crap, it got another turn on the new round. That's amazing.
Nice.
In case you haven't noticed, Adam, we do a variant rule on initiative rolls, where every single turn, everything re-rolls its initiative. So in quick succession, as it skids to a halt, the skeletal creature attempts to slash at you with its scimitar, Scorched. Its first attack connects, cutting into your form, dealing a bit of damage to you, and then it once again, this time spinning and attempting to cut your head off. But this time you were ready for it. You managed to pull up your longsword and bash the weapon away. And Owlister, it is your turn. These two skeletal warriors have now rushed down the hallway, their scimitars drawn, and are attempting to strike down Scorched. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna move up here.
Okay.
And I am going to basically say hello to my little friend here with my quarterstaff to his face. Is the plan.
Fair enough. Unfortunately, as you rush forward and strike out with your quarterstaff, he just manages to knock your quarterstaff away harmlessly with the blunt edge of his weapon.
As a bonus action, I'm going to try to claw his face.
Okay. And that is also a miss. As you attempt to reach out with your clawed hands and scratch across it, you manage to claw its face, and it just peels off a bit of bone, almost like shale crumbling off of a wall. Doesn't seem to do much at all. The other zombie, if a zombie could get tired of doing something, this zombie would definitely be the zombie that would get tired. It just sort of looks at the other creature next to it and harmlessly cuts into the ground in front of you, Rex. It's kind of sad at this point. And Twinkle, it's your turn.
Does he see me?
He does not see you. That is a critical hit. And Twinkle, as you slinked around, very quickly running around and pulling out your dagger, stabbing into the creature. You didn't target it, so the damage didn't go on to him. But I would say, for all intents and purposes, whatever creature you were attacking...
The one in front of me.
The one in front of you? Okay. It crumbles to the ground. You've just managed to catch it in the back of its skull, straight through its armored helmet, and its face poof, becomes bone dust into Scorch's face.
And then I hide.
Okay. You can roll your stealth check. Should make a sound bite. I think that should be like a sound bite for the episode. Just you giggling.
I would remove that zombie from the tracker. I think he's pretty much fucked.
Who?
Oh, the one that just disappeared.
Okay. Yeah, he's gonna continue to try to hit you. Look, these guys, they don't get tired. Of, perseverance.
I'm waiting for the others to come back.
There's just the sound of, like, the blades scratching into the ground, tufts of grass flying up in the air. The bushes around this creature are just completely gone. Scorch, it is your turn. You just watched as this creature's head exploded and bone dust in your face and collapsed to the ground. The other one now is still menacing you with its scimitar.
Alright, so after blocking his attack with my longsword, I'm going to take a swipe at him with my long.
Okay. Your arm blade connects, slashing into the creature's chest, and you deal a heavy blow to it as a bit of its rib cage bursts away from just under the armor where you pierced into and slashed into its chest.
Now my turn.
Okay. Vrax, it's your turn. Whoops. There we go. As you slash out with your longsword flame tongue, cutting down deep into this creature. In quick succession, you cut this creature into giblets, slashing across twice. It falls into 4 pieces and is now squirming. Its head, its mouth is moving.
Now will end my turn.
Adalem, it is your turn. Looking around the room now, you're seeing that there's hardly any resistance now. Just these strange newcomers and this one skeletal creature that they're now dogpiling around.
In that case, I'm gonna focus on myself and just heal.
Okay.
I'm gonna stay where I am for safety purposes.
I got you. On the Carnethi skeleton's turn, it's going to take its scimitar and very quickly attempt to slash into you. You can see now that one of its arms is nearly falling off. And as it swung its first hit, missed you. And as it hit with the other one, this time slicing forth, both hands on the hilt, the sword pulls the right arm free, and it manages to hit you with the sword. Its arm now is dangling off of the hilt as it slashes into your body. And Vrax, it is your turn once again.
I swear, Jeremy, I'm not trying to make this take a long time, but these rolls, man.
Hey, look, I get it. Did you hit that time?
19s and no 20s. This game's fine. Against lizards.
And you manage to cut into the creature, severing its arm. It is down on one knee now, looking up to you, looking like it's getting ready to stand up once again. That unfortunately is a miss.
Damn, I was hoping to go ahead and finish it.
That would have been cool. Sorry.
I know. Alright, my turn is over.
Alright, I believe that is Twinkle's turn, if I'm not mistaken. Twinkle, it's your turn. You see this skeletal creature is barely being held together now. It has taken so much damage from various magical attacks and slashing blades.
Does it see me?
Does not notice you. That is a hit. And Alistair and Scorch, you just watch as suddenly Twinkle's head is now where the creature's ribcage used to be. She's got a wicked look on her face, and she's holding her dagger out as she punched through its chest. And now the top half and the bottom half of its body fall away as Twinkle now sort of splays out, doing a split and standing over its dead corpse. And Scorch, it is your turn. The creature is dead. You look around, glancing around the room. You don't notice any other conflict. No other creatures or undead monsters are coming towards you. You just see your friends, Twinkle, now standing over the corpse of this creature, and you see Alistair standing next to you.
Alright. To start, Scorch is going to use his second wind ability. He's going to heal himself.
Okay.
Alright, so I'm going to heal back 10 hit points.
Alright, you can adjust that yourself if you like.
And then he's going to go and meet the stranger that they met before.
Okay. And Varax, the skeleton, now looking around it, seeing that it's by itself, one arm hanging off, is going to once again attempt to cut you. As soon as Fantasy Grounds stop acting like it's a petulant child. Yeah, I don't know what's going on tonight. Fantasy Grounds does not like me.
You're not going to save it the trouble. This fight only ends with one way. A pile of bone, dust, and Vrax stomping around outside yelling for more enemies.
Yeah, come inside for more enemies.
What's that?
Said he got to go inside for more enemies.
No. They ran down the road.
There's also another whole half of the house that we didn't explore.
I can't fit inside yet. It'll be 2 hours.
Not quite your turn. Sorry, I know you got excited.
Yes.
I figure that after all of these rounds of combat of these creatures trying to attack you and trying to connect, that they would actually hit, but no, they keep missing. Now it's your turn, Alistair. I know what your AC is.
Alistair moves behind Adelum, and he just kind of looks around at her hair, just like cocking his head.
Okay.
And that's all he's gonna do.
Adelum, it's your turn. This strange, seemingly winged creature is now currently behind you, like sort of very carefully peering forward and cocking its head this way and that way, looking at your hair.
Can I help you?
Twinkle, it is your turn. There are no more things to kill in this room. Except for the strange lady that Scorched and Alistair seem to be talking to.
Don't tempt her.
Hi.
Hello.
So, Delum, you just see this bone dust covered goblin with eyes that are a little bit smaller than you would normally see on a goblin. Most goblins have very large eyes with large irises and pupils. This one seems kind of a little bit smaller than normal. And Twinkle, do you do anything else on your turn besides saying hello to this stranger?
No.
Okay. Well, in that case, it is your turn, Adelum. You are currently surrounded by these strangers who are all looking at you quizzically.
Hello. Thank you for helping me. Were you all here to see Lady E?
Scorch, it is your turn. You can respond. I would say at this point, just for all intents and purposes, I'm just going to say, because it doesn't have much health left, that Vrax, you just stepped on, Godzilla style, stepped on this skeleton and killed it.
Double.
You sure about that? You sure he killed him?
Yeah, I don't think it's dead.
Yeah, it's dead.
We're going to have to talk about your version of Fantasy Ground.
You know what? I'm blaming it on my router.
He doesn't have a big enough chungus to properly run Fantasy Ground, so the dice is...
Now,
Alright.
Jeremy, how tall are the ceilings in this building?
The ceilings are vaulted. They appear to be approximately 15 feet tall.
I am currently 13 foot tall. Can
Right.
I duck down and come on?
Well,
Unfortunately, the door is not quite wide. However, several of the windows in the front facade of the building are broken, so you could crawl through those.
Oh no! A giant Godzilla-like creature is breaking in through the window!
Adelum, you're hearing the sounds of scattered glass as this large creature, much larger than it was when you first saw it peering down the entrance of the interior of the building, is now stomping and sort of sidling up behind the rest of its companions.
I hold up my hand for a moment to do like a magic missile at it, but I recognize it like just the last second, and I don't shoot it.
Okay.
No, please, go ahead. I love the way that feels.
He likes to eat human and many other things, and apparently now pain.
And Adelum, if you'd like to describe your character now, you can.
Okay. 5'8" person with long grayish hair, 3 braids on the left side, and golden eyes. In my hair, scurrying about, now appears a very small owl bear with white feathers and brown accent feathers. I'm also dressed in leathers and gray, mostly gray and black fabrics.
So, I'm assuming that you are not Lady E.
No, I had just finished business with her and was headed out when, well, we were all assaulted and, well, let's just say I'm the last one.
Cutting everyone off. Is that a mini owl star? And then I climb up her leg. Can I eat it?
No, you
Twinkle, get
cannot.
down. Twinkle, down.
Fine.
And
Alistair ruffles his wings.
Did you just say mini me?
It's more of an owl there.
Twinkle, come over here and get on my shoulder.
I'm running up on top of Rax's head.
Twinkle
I am
insults me.
tall now.
Twinkle saves
That does
me.
look fun, however.
Is your
So,
friend
who
normally
is-
this big?
I wish. Do you know how many birds I would get with this?
No, I'm not normally this big.
and his voice is booming and a bit deeper. Seems to sort of echo off of the walls.
So who are you? Why are you here?
Oh, my name is Adelum, and this is Mer. I scratch his little chin again. We were just finishing some business off with Lady E, and like I said, I was headed out just now before assaulted.
Adelum, as you explain that, you're suddenly realizing that you haven't seen Lady E. Or heard her.
Yeah, where is Lady E?
Do I recall the last place she was?
If you recall, before these newcomers entered the compound and the rest of these undead warriors attacked, you observed two attempting to break into the chamber to the east there, beyond this meeting area.
Yeah, she was just this way, and I point out the direction that I heard her come from.
And as you do, you hear a voice just sort of very softly say, "Hello?"
I go towards the door.
I'm gonna swing the door open and peer down into it and ask her if she's okay.
As you reach for the handle, one of the doors begins to creep open, and you see a woman wearing a very deep emerald-colored dress, very, very, very almost vibrant emerald-colored dress, and parts of it are a bit like disheveled. One shoulder is falling off a little bit, and when she sees your massive form, she sort of recoils. She's like, "Oh, my the gods!"
I crawl to Vrax's nose. Hi!
And tell him you see the familiar stature of Lady E as she looks at you, and beyond this large creature, and she says, "I tell him,
yes.
where are the rest?" And she sort of, she sort of tries to compose herself a bit, and she looks to you first, Adelum, and looks to the rest of you, and she looks beyond at the fallen forms of the undead creatures. And now, as you all begin to look around, you can now see that in the corners and places, and you see bits of blood and viscera and body parts all spread throughout randomly, clearly not belonging to the undead creatures. And she looks to you all and she says, "I am in your debt."
Yes, you are. Let's discuss.
And then she looks to you when you say that, and then she looks back to you, Adelum. She says, "You know that these were only part of the larger force that attacked the guards and household staff." And she turns and
promises.
She looks to you, Adelum, and then she scans the room beyond, and she says, "There are more. The armored warriors wearing the symbol of the Emerald Claw, and that war-forged fighter with a wickedly curved sword." And then she stops mid-sentence and stares at you, Scorched. And she says, "What is he doing here?"
He.
Scorched will fish out his letter, and he would give it to Lady E. So you sent for us.
You sent for him.
And she reaches out and she takes the letter from your, sort of trembling, her hands trembling as she takes the letter from you, and she says, I don't seem to recall asking for one of you.
You know, I don't seem to recall wanting to really do anything tonight. How about you handle this crap yourself, and we'll just go ahead and leave.
Can I eat, sir? Can I?
I say we eat her.
Adelum,
No,
is this rabble with you?
No, I was just with my other group, and well, while being assaulted, these fellows all came in and started aiding me, and were able to clear out, well, most of them.
She turns and looks at all of you and she says, you have to understand, most of my staff have just been violently murdered by a warforged carrying a curved scimitar. Seeing another one so soon after the fact is a bit of a startle for me. In my station,
they all look the same to you, huh?
Yeah, my whole family was murdered by humanoids, but I don't hate all of you.
that is very well and good. But as you can see, and she gestures around her household, my house has been cleansed by the Emerald Claw. They didn't leave any of my staff. They didn't leave any of my staff living. Adelum here is the only one who appears to have survived.
Are we supposed to know what the Emerald Claw is?
The Emerald Claw are brutes. Terrorists. From Cannith. They killed my guards, my servants. And her eyes sort of widen, and she turns to look at you, Adelum, and she says, they took the skimmers. By the Great Forge, the Emerald Claw has the skimmers and the creation pattern. And she steps towards you, Adelum, and she puts her hands on your shoulders now. And she says, but there's still time. There's still time to retrieve the skimmers and keep the Order of the Emerald Claw from gaining whatever power that the completed creation pattern may possess. Time is of the essence. There isn't a moment to waste. Adelum, I know that you have experienced loss this evening just as much as I have, but I must call upon you once more.
Kind of a sternness washes over her face, and she nods. Of course. I'll see to it that it's done, and I'll find it and get it back to you as quickly as I possibly can.
Guys, this doesn't seem to concern us. This is between those two. Let's just leave.
She turns around and the woman says, you must understand, if the Emerald Claw gain this power that they're seeking, then the 5 nations won't be able to stand against them. And the machinations of the Claw will spread.
There's always a threat to a nation somewhere by something. This doesn't involve us. Until I hear what's in it for us, we're uninterested.
I will pay you each 5,000 gold.
Now you're talking. So what does your little race of self want from us?
And she sort of composes herself and again straightens her dress. The skimmers and the creation pattern belong to House Cannith. But more importantly, we must not allow the Order of the Emerald Claw to use the completed pattern. We haven't determined what the pattern can be used to create, but the power it possesses cannot be allowed to fall into the grasp of the Claw. Neither of the nations nor the houses will be safe.
Describe this item to us.
The skimmers are used. They're tablets. They have various rune marks on them that have been, over the years, we have taken to calling them skimmers. That is the origin of your species. And she turns and looks to you, Scorched. You came from skimmers and creation patterns. Your entire race was born from this knowledge, these devices, the Genesis Forge, the Creation Forges. The skimmers, when they are used together with a creation pattern, they can create life, or they can create something powerful that seeks death and destruction. They are seeds of existence.
So
There are 4 of them.
we're finding tablet god thingies?
Yes. And a matter of speaking, yes. They have 3 of them.
This creation pattern. What is that?
We had not yet ascertained exactly what it does. We only know that it activates something of immense power.
Does it look like the other items, or does it have a unique appearance? You have to remember, we know nothing of this.
It looks like the skimmers, but not. The skimmers are all parts of it. They appear to you as an obsidian tablet. Each of the skimmers, when inserted into this larger obsidian, bit of chunk of obsidian, will activate it.
What is Apsian?
Dragon
Obsidian.
It's a black rock.
It's a very, very hard black rock, yes.
Why don't you just say black rock?
It's made of lava.
Ooh.
And she turns and she looks at you, Adelim, now, and she says, "The worst of all of them. You saw him but for a moment. That smiling merchant. That fat, rotund man who gained entry into my house. And the moment that he gained entry, that smile turned to a grin, and his form just seemed to melt and flow. And he at once appeared as a tall, emaciated man with white skin, red eyes, and sharp fangs. It was he. He was the one that summoned the creatures through the portal into the house. He was the one that set off the attack, the initial attack that fell so many of my staff."
The worst of all of them stand before you. Point us in the direction of this fool and he'll bother you no more.
The 4th skimmer, among the items that clearly this man was after were the notes that were uncovered. They were made by my ancestor Kedron de Cannith. It was in his ancient forge far below Sharn, the creation, the Genesis Forge, that the first skimmer was discovered. And his notes had hinted at the location of the 4th. I can give you these hints, I can provide you with them, and you can beat the Emerald Claw to the location.
That might be our best bet.
Kedron's notes pointed to only one place that this creation pattern could, this skimmer could possibly be. This is where they will take the 3 other skimmers and the creation pattern. They are heading to Zindrick. The skimmer can be found there in an ancient ruin that was once populated by the giants and their elven slaves. My ancestors' notes clearly identify this place, and I can replicate the clues that were among the writings.
I'd love to take a look at those.
But time is of the essence. They will immediately set out for Zindrick.
Well, let's stop talking and go.
And as she's been speaking, she's been rushing around the parlor now, and she goes to a desk and she pulls out a pentagonal piece of parchment. She begins writing. And she says, "You must prepare yourselves at once for the journey to the Zendrick. This is a letter of credit for 5,000 gold galifars that you can use to outfit yourselves and procure potions and scrolls for the expedition. Return here in a few hours and I will have your advance payment ready. And I will also make sure to make arrangements for travel." And after she finishes the letter, she now holds it out. Unsure who to give it to, she holds it out in front of her, waiting for one of you to take it.
I'll grab it if no one objects.
Yeah, I just look away from her.
She's sort of side-eyeing you a little bit, and she hands the letter to you.
As she hands the letter to me, I grab both of her hands and I look her in the eyes and say, "It's not my preference to see to matters personally, but I'll see to them that they are done." With that, I start making my way out, following this new group.
And once we're done with this, forget our names. I'm not exactly enjoying your company.
She sort of silently turns away as she begins to continue to, now scrambling through her tables and her notes. She's looking around, grabbing books, grabbing scrolls and parchment as you all begin to turn and leave.
I smash my way through the front door, and as I do, I say, "It was already like that when I got here."
Vrax smash. And what are the rest of you doing as Vrax smashes his way out of the house?
I'm holding on to the red parts of the back of his head, trying not to fall off.
Okay. Make a I'll tell you what, make an acrobatics, or no, make an athletics check. Let's see how well you can hold on to him. As he walks through the door frame, Twinkle, you look too late to duck and catch your chin right on the top of the door frame, and you go flying off the back of him.
Can I catch his tail?
And you take 2 bludgeoning damage.
But can I catch his tail?
I don't know, can you?
Is that another athletics?
I would say that would be a dexterity check to reach out and grab his tail. You are now holding on to the very tip of his tail as he heads out through this new orifice, this opening in the side of the house that he's made, where the door jamb used to be. And as the rest of you begin to head out, Scorch, do you do anything else?
No, Scorch will just turn to leave.
Okay.
Adelum's a bit hesitant, but sees this as a new opportunity for herself and follows this group.
As Adelum catches up to me, I'm going to use Speak with Animals and talk to her little friend.
Adelum, before you leave, Lady E reaches out and grabs your elbow gently, and she says softly, "I was given the skimmers and the creation pattern to hold and keep safe, and I have failed. You must recover the items, or my standing in this house will be in jeopardy. I turn to you in this hour of need in hopes that the rumors of your honor and your tenacity are true. You have served our house well, Adelum. I know nothing of these newcomers, or whether or not they are leading you to damnation, betrayal, death, and destruction. You must not fail me."
Wait for racism.
I barely know them myself, and I hope only for the best. Where I come from, everything is dark, and any little light is, well, a light. Hopefully they will help me, and hopefully I will be able to help you as I've promised.
I will, of course, arrange for proper burial for your friends.
If you find anything significant on them that I can send to their families, please do hold on to them.
Of course. And with that, she lets you walk away. And you're all now standing out in the middle of the street.
I was joking about speak with animals. I have to do that.
Off in the distance, you can see now the...
Skeletons coming back?
You do not see skeletons coming back.
Fuck!
Do I find one of the purses that one of the skeletons dropped?
You don't see a purse. You do, however, see... You do, however, see a very startled-looking Warforged standing next to a sky carriage, and he is currently brushing one of his Pegasus.
So,
oh, my friends! I saw horrible things running through the streets, brandishing weapons. They were throwing the weapons aside, some of them.
Yeah, they gotta look at this. Not Fleck.
And then he sort of like cocks his head to the side and raises a hand up to his chin, his Warforged chin. He sort of scratches it. He says, "You were, smaller a little while ago. My goodness, you've grown. I don't know if you'll fit in. I don't know if you'll fit in the carriage now. Oh, actually, wait." And he snaps his fingers, and the carriage grows 3 times as big as what it is, and the doorway is now wide enough for you to walk through if you wish.
You are awesome.
Vrax has been drinking his milk.
You drink that? Disgusting.
Well, if it's milk from a giant, I can understand. Strong, powerful stuff. I don't imbibe it, obviously, but...
I would never recommend milking a giant.
And as he looks beyond you now, he sees Adellum, and he says, "Oh, young miss, any friend of my friends here is a friend of mine. My name is Mr. R." And he gestures and sort of bows slightly. "These are the girls and the boy. Ginger, Sassafras, Lady, and of course good old Siegfried." And each of the Pegasi now whinny slightly and sort of shuffle their feet, clip-clopping, and their wings sort of rustle at the sides. You see that they're beautiful coats shining in the moonlight. You can see their wings, their feathers trailing off behind them. Huge wings.
They're lovely, and I kind of nod in his direction.
And he's, of course. So is there anything that you all wish to do for the rest of the evening, or did you want to discharge me from your service?
Yeah, take us someplace comfortable. We need to relax.
Oh, well, we can go back to the, anywhere, actually. We could go take you back to the tavern if you wish to have more refreshments. I can take you off to an inn if you like. Somewhere nice.
Does the tavern sound good to everybody? We made some friends there.
Yes!
I'm sure I'll be as welcome there as anywhere else.
I have no bias on where we go.
Don't feel bad, Scorched. We appreciate you.
I'm fine going.
You mean I wasn't welcome there?
What's that?
You mean I wasn't welcome there?
You weren't welcome where?
At the tavern.
Nah, you're welcome at the tavern. They had that little attitude earlier, but I took care of it.
Off in the distance, Vrax, you can see that there are what looks like members of the Watch with ever-bright lanterns, and they have their cudgels out, and they're moving off in different directions, like looking down alleyways, like they're searching for something.
As we take off, I would like to yell, "About time!"
They all kind of turn in your direction, a few of them, of the different parties that are scattered amongst the district, and sort of quizzically look in your direction.
Fly off, they see a big green middle finger.
Okay. The sky carriage sort of buckles under the extra weight from you just a little bit, but then rights itself as the doors part, and this little bit of a gangplank slides out to allow for you to walk up into it in your large form.
Nice.
And within, as you step within the carriage, that same familiar feeling of like a cooling breeze, which you felt within at Vesper's office, is now, and also felt within Zinfel's shop, is now sort of blushing and rushing over your body. You just feel this cool breeze from the summer heat outside, even in the middle of the night, at nearly 10 o'clock at night now. The heat humidity is just oppressive. Of course, for you and your stature, it's par for the course. It's normal for you to not notice excessive heat or moisture or humidity. But it feels kind of nice having this little bit of cool breeze sort of blowing on the edge of your frills. And as you walk into the carriage and turn around, you get a glance of your tail, and Twinkle is just hanging for dear life off the end of your tail.
Lift my tail up and grab her by the top of her little bulbous head and put her back on my shoulder.
And Adelum, you see this magnificent sky carriage before you. It resembles a standard carriage that would be pulled by horses in the streets. However, it's much larger, and its cabin has been expanded and enlarged when this Warforged snapped his fingers. And it's pulled by these 4 magnificent Pegasi. And he's sort of leaning on a cane now that has a little bit of a dragon shard crystal on the end. And he's gesturing with one of his hands towards the sky carriage as you all begin to step foot onto the vehicle.
I step in it after Scorched.
Okay. One by one, you all make your way onto the carriage. And with a few taps with his cane, the gangplank slides in, the doors slide closed. The humidity and heat from the outside is completely blocked off now, and you can hear the sound of the Warforged driver, Mr. R's voice is now echoing and enhanced within the interior of the cavern. And you just hear him saying now,
"All right, Ginger, Sassafras, Lady Siegfried, up and away!"
And you watch as the carriage begins to roll as they start clip-clopping, moving forward. And the heavy beat of the wings is muffled from the interior of the cabin. And you feel the sky carriage lurch as it pulls up into the air and arcing out into the night air above Middle Central Plaza as Mr. R swings the sky carriage around, taking you back towards the west, towards the cliffside ward of Sharn.
During the ride, I'm going to have Mur on my lap, and I'm just going to just be like messing with their feathers to fix them.
Okay.
I am going to be staring at him longingly.
And I'm going to stare at Twinkle with rage.
And I'm going to
Alistair is
smile
going
at her.
to prune his feathers and also stare at Mer.
And you can hear from within the cabin the echoing sound of Mr. R.
Begging your pardon, I didn't quite ask you if you were wishing to continue my services beyond the tap room.
And the sound
Not for
is
tonight.
the sound is now echoing out of this sort of grilled circular nodule that is on the front of the wall that separates you from Mr. R. And as that sound emanates, you can see now that the wall has become transparent, and Mr. R is sort of peeking a little bit. He's bent over and upside down. You can see him peeking into the cabin, just sort of giving you all a once over, making sure that you're all right. And he writes himself up.
Well, there, Vel. I'm sure that you can obtain some sort of modicum of somewhere to stay. I'm sure that the order would have no problem at all setting you up within the upper levels of the tap room.
Thanks. Yeah, we'll probably stay there for the night. Can we contact you again sometime?
Of course!
And out of a tiny little, where you're seated in this lovely plush couch within the interior of this large sky carriage, a little glowing nodule rises up near your armrest, Vrax, and a little stone begins to grow out of it. And you can see now that emblazoned on it is what looks like a warforged face with a top hat. And there are little winged accents. This appears to be some sort of crest.
All you have to do is use that sending stone. You can reach out to me anytime. Or you can also use your ring if you happen to lose that stone.
I'll take the stone.
All right.
Does Mr. R actually wear a top hat, or is it part of him?
Oh, no, he wears a top hat.
Can you tell me where to get one of those hats?
Oh, many of the fine stores will carry them. There is a place in Troll Skull Alley, actually, during the daytime that'll sell them to you. They have very, very fine clothing.
Thank you, thank you. I know what I'm doing first thing in the morning.
Very well, that sounds lovely.
And you continue to hear the sound of the beating wings, and within the interior of the cabin, this lovely sound of the wings almost lulling you all, and you all feel a little bit tired and achy from the battle before that raged on. And after a while, approximately a half an hour goes by, and his sky carriage arcs up and then down over the protective dividing wall between Dura and Cliffside, and the sky carriage begins making a beeline towards the large, multi-leveled, floating manor house, and into the large courtyard area, which is in front of the entrance to the tap room. And as Mr. R settles down and his 4 Pegasi flap their wings, slowing down the carriage, the inertia begins to get closer to the courtyard, and you very gently rest, and you can feel a little bit of a bump as the carriage rests onto the courtyard, and it rolls to a stop, and the doors hiss open and the gangplank extends, and you can hear now, no longer amplified, Mr. R saying, "There we are, very well. My friends, you have reached your destination. That'll be 1,000 gold. Just kidding."
I'm going to toss him a few extra gold coins as we jump off.
Okay. And at this time of night, it's approximately 10:30 now. And you can see that the courtyard is still kind of bustling. There's groups of individuals that are standing around talking outside. And you can see now that there are a few individuals that are speaking, but they appear to be, for the most part, ignoring you all. Except for you, Vrax. A couple of them turn and look, and they see you, and they're just like, sort of taken aback for a moment. And they're just like, well, you don't see that every day. And then they turn back to their conversations.
I'm half dragon.
Me too. Roar!
Adorable.
You all are insane.
And as you enter into the tavern, you can see that for the most part, the tap room is almost completely empty.
We can't yet. too big.
Oh, you can't go in there yet?
Yeah, I still got about another hour.
Okay. Well, as you're hanging out outside, looking inside, your friends can either stay with you and hang out, or they can go inside and you can just kind of hang outside with while they have a good old time.
Alistair will get some meat and then eat it while looking straight at Rack through the window, and then after taunting him for a bit, we'll bring out some meat for him.
I'm gonna ask Adelma if she wants to let me talk to her little animal companion.
I'm not opposed. You can talk to him.
Cool. Come over here then. We'll work on that while I'm waiting for the spell to wear off.
Okay.
I want to look for cats.
Do you want to look for cats?
Yes.
Okay. Make a perception check. And Vrax and Adelum, Vrax, from outside in the courtyard, you see that there is a disembodied broom, which is currently moving by itself, sweeping the courtyard. Twinkle, unfortunately, you don't find any cats. You do find some rat carcasses, though, that look like they've been partially eaten recently.
Mine! And I snatch them.
Okay, you reach out and you grab the few rat carcasses that you can find. You find about 3 rat carcasses that are in a bit of bit better than the others, a little worse for wear. You're fairly certain that if you don't do something with them soon, they're gonna turn, and they won't be edible.
I eat them all whole, swallow, complete.
Okay. In quick succession, you just sort of and then just devour these corpses of the rats.
And then I skip back over to our people.
I watched this with wide eyes.
It's cute, isn't it?
Adorable.
Vrax, as you're standing there watching Twinkle and talking to Adelum, you feel a little bit of a tickle, and as you look down, you can see that the broom, this disembodied broom, has sort of very gently has brushed against the edge of your foot as it's sweeping the cobblestones around your feet.
I'm curious now. If I lay down, will it sweep me?
I want con saves to see if he's ticklish.
Make a Constitution saving throw. Vrax, you felt a little bit of a tickle, and it felt good. It just felt kind of good. Like it felt like someone was like trying to like brush your feet or clean your feet off for you.
I'm gonna hold my other foot out and get both of them.
And you watch as in quick succession, the broom now, this disembodied broom, is now sweeping the bottom of your feet off. The bits of pebbles that are in between the toes are flying off. The dust is being flown off in this big cloud now, which is spreading off of your foot as the dirt and detritus from walking around all day, from the undercity to the top city, is just coming off of your feet.
I look over at Adelum, I was like, you wouldn't believe how much dirt these scales pick up.
Alistair is now sipping a mug of ale, looking out, watching all this happening, just like,
what is even going on in my life?
I feel like I'm going to start asking that question a lot more often now.
I'm seeing him look at me through the window. I'm like, sitting in there, enjoy your drink, edgelord.
Enough time passes, unless there's something else that you wish to accomplish out in the courtyard.
Yes, one quick thing.
You're just mad because my edges would cut you.
And as you say that, you look and you watch as his enlarged form now is starting to shrink before your eyes, and you just watch as he, almost like a bit of a shimmer, a heat shimmer, even in the dark, you can see as his form sort of warbles and shrinks down back to his still impressive and imposing stature. And you are now no longer the hulking Vrax that you were for 2 hours. You feel a little bit of a heartburn in your chest as you pound your chest a little bit from the after effects of that potion. And you get a little bit of nasty taste in your mouth. Kind of tastes like a foot.
Nice. And I've deleted the potion, by the way. I've got another one similar to it.
Okay. and you are now large enough that you can fit within the establishment.
If he walks in the door, I hand him a plate of just fresh.
Did I have time to have a talk with her little friend while I was out there, or does that ritual take longer?
I think the ritual cast takes 10 minutes, 5 minutes.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah.
What do we talk about?
The little critter says, "Hey, who are you?"
I'm Vrax. Who are you?
"I'm Mur, short for murder."
Really? That is awesome.
"Yeah. So, what do you want?"
Nothing. I just wanted to say, hey, do your normal companions talk to you this way?
No. Wow, they're all dead.
Yeah, sorry about that. I wish we'd gotten there sooner.
That's okay. Most of them were dicks anyway. So, what are your intentions? And this little creature now is sort of like looking at you, and it's twisting its head this way and that way, and its eyes seem to be getting even bigger in its eye sockets.
Make money, have fun, drink good food. You?
You're not gonna hurt my lady, are you?
Not unless she tries to hurt me. Do you think she will?
Are you evil?
No. Some people think I'm evil because I don't normally fit in with regular people, and people are delicious. But no, I'm not evil.
Well, I can understand that. People think I'm useless, but I'm not. And he holds up a teeny little paw and his claws extend from his hand. See? I'm dangerous. Don't mess with me.
I see that. Those are sharp.
And then he starts licking the edge of his paw like a cat.
Did you know that I have the ability to see through your eyes and see what you see?
That's kind of creepy, actually, but cool.
Yeah, but if your lady ever gets into trouble, maybe you could help us out in the future.
I will do anything for my lady, and I love her so much. And you just watch as this little floofy bear creature, it's just all 4 appendages reach out and grab the side of Adelum's head, and are now holding on for dear life, and is sort of cooing in your ear, Adelum.
I like rub against him affectionately.
He likes you a lot.
Oh.
He even said it. Well, look, little guy, you know what kind of abilities I have. If she ever gets into trouble, come find me. And we'll go.
I'm gonna peek underneath Frax and stare at the owl.
Twinkle, no.
When I get big enough, I'm gonna eat that, okay?
Go for it. I would love to see that fight.
Are we cool?
Yeah, we're cool.
All right, and the little critter now is staring in the direction of Twinkle, and it goes silent for a little while.
Twinkle, he said he's going to eat you when he gets bigger.
So we're friends?
Yeah.
Nice.
All right, now I'm guessing my potions wore off now, so I'm going to go on inside. I'm going to pluck a feather off of Alistair as I walk by and go on up to the bar.
Okay. Alistair, you feel a sharp pain as a feather is removed from your head.
As he does so, I extend one of my talons and try to scratch it along his arm as he pulls the feather out.
Equal exchange.
Alistair's very sharp talons gouge a little bit of a line of blood in your arm. You take 1 point of damage, Vrax.
Didn't even feel it.
And the blood starts to seep out of the wound slightly, but you can tell that it wasn't enough to really break the skin. It was more like a cat scratching you.
Yeah.
Alistair puts his head back and puts the talon to his mouth and lets the blood drop into his mouth.
As you do so, you all hear sort of like a coming from behind the counter. You see the familiar sight of the woman from before a few hours ago. And she says, "Well now, look at Joel. A little worse from where? I take it you ran into some trouble?"
Yeah, this racist old woman wanted us to beat up some undead.
That will happen from time to time in the city. And she looks at each of you, and she notices the ring on your finger, Vrax, the symbol of the order, and says, I imagine you'll all be wishing to retire upstairs when you're ready.
Yeah, if you're able to accommodate us.
Of course, any member of the order, anyone with those rings, can head upstairs. Only members of the order with the rings are able to go upstairs. And she gestures now to the end of the bar. You see a symbol on the floor, which is some sort of arcane series of sigils. And directly in front of that, on the wall in the corner, you can see a plate with a semicircular depression. And she looks to you all and she says, I imagine you'll need a little bit of instruction on how to do that. All you have to do is take your ring, stand in the circle, and press it up against the wall on the plate. And it'll take you upstairs to the meeting hall.
Twinkle, did you understand that?
You take your fist and punch the wall. And it takes you to the attic.
Sure, dear, that's exactly what happens. When you punch the wall, it takes you to the attic.
Awesome! And then I run away.
And
I'll worry about her.
the woman now taking...
You get a lead.
She's now wiping down the counter, and she says, Kitchen's closed for the rest of the evening. You can still get drink if you like, but we have to get ready for tomorrow's another day, another batch of folk from the city and around Corvair coming to see the Troll Skull tap room.
Did your security man get his drink earlier?
Oh, he's already retired for the evening. For the most part, Liv takes care of any rabble that comes in late at night that don't want to leave.
Very well. All right, well, we'll be retiring for the evening.
Very well. If you need anything at all, then each of the rooms within the manor are equipped with sending stones. You can reach me if you need something.
You got a cup of clean water back there?
You can take a bath if you wish to. There's places upstairs.
Drink. Yeah,
Oh,
clean
to-
drinking.
Of course. And she reaches out and grabs a chalice and starts drawing from a clear pitcher that is behind her among the various tankards and casks, and she now slides it to you. Big cup of water for a big man, lizard, whatever you are.
I prefer dinosaur.
Dinosaur, I will remember that. And she looks around at the rest of them. What about the rest of your friends? Do you need anything else before we close up?
I'm already gone upstairs.
Okay. In a flash, you all watch as Vrax, with his cup of water, approaches the symbol and reaches out with his massive, meaty, taloned fist and presses it in the wall. And a brilliant flash of arcane energy and light, and he's gone.
Me next! Me next!
Twinkle, as you run up to the wall, you realize that the plate is a little bit taller than you can reach.
I jump.
Okay, as you jump and punch into the wall, make a performance check.
Can I make a perception check to see their rings?
Sure. You still have two other individuals of the four that you've met sitting around you. Twinkle, you very quickly and deftly spin in the air, and as you spin around, your body rights itself. You reach your arm out and press into the wall, and you can feel a tickling sensation in your tummy as you are teleported to the attic. The rings appear to be made like a signet ring. The way that they're designed, they're sort of like a silver, almost platinum colored band. And each of the rings have an identical, what appears to be some sort of a yellowish amber dragon shard, which is set into the ring.
Ah. That does not match my ring. Okay. Who's
And
left over here?
Currently,
Scorch and Alistair?
currently, Scorch and Alistair are still within the tap room unless they say otherwise.
I'm still here. I'm kind of looking around. And then a thought occurs.
Excuse me, but what if one of us is not with the order?
And Lydia now looks to you and she says, well, then I suppose you'll have to invite her up as a guest. Do you wish to do so?
Yes.
I'll have no trouble from you, will I?
None at all.
All right, very well. And she
Remember, this is our territory. Think nothing of it. Or
She
maybe
now-
you should.
She now pulls out a box, and when she opens the box, you see what appears to be a very beautiful facsimile of one of the rings that these individuals are wearing. But it appears to be completely made of that dragon shard. The band, everything. A perfect replica, but made entirely of dragon shard. That'll dissolve in the morning. You go ahead and put it on your hand, dear.
I pick one out and I put it on to a finger adjacent to my other ring.
Okay. Same as before. Just go right ahead. Press it to the plate. It'll take you upstairs.
I nod.
And what about you, Scorched? What are you doing?
Scorched will eventually make his way up to the upstairs. He's not in any particular hurry since he doesn't really need sleep.
Okay. Well, one by one, you all, if there's nothing else that you wish to do down in the tap room, essentially, if you sit in the tap room, essentially you're just watching as Lydia is going around. She's pushing tables against the wall. You watch as the disembodied set of broom and dustpan has now headed into the establishment and is going around and is cleaning the floors. And she walks up to the fireplace, which is in the northern wall, set into the northern wall, and she sort of stokes it a little bit. And then watch as she begins to clean it and rake out the coals into a bin, and then heads off behind the counter out to an adjacent room where you can't see where she goes.
Am I in a room on my own, or am I sharing with someone else?
The upper levels of the manor consist of several bedrooms, a library. There is a meeting hall with a long table with another fireplace. But yes, there are enough rooms within the establishment that all of you are able to find a comfortable room, a private area of all of your own if you wish to.
Can I read over the stuff that Lady gave me?
Sure.
I do so in the meeting room, so if any of them want to join me, I am there openly doing so.
And most of the notes that you read, how long did you want to spend reading them? It is a lot of information.
I'm there for about maybe an hour, hour and a half, and then after that I go to bed because I am spent and pretty beat up.
Okay. And unless the rest of these strange new companions say so, they all leave you alone and to your own devices to read.
I'm there long enough to see that she's reading and realize that I offer no benefit to that, and I get up and leave.
Okay. Twinkle, you find a cat in the attic.
I go after it immediately.
It flies up into the air over your head and flips you the bird and flies out the window.
and I follow it.
The window is 25 feet above your head.
I can walk on the walls.
Okay. So, Twinkle, you walk out the walls, out the window, into the night air, and you watch as this cat is now flying off into the distance.
That's just not fair.
When you turn around, the window closes and locks. You are now on the outside of the manor on the very top part of the parapet.
Wow, this is just like home. I'm climbing to the roof. I'm having a nice nap.
Okay. Within the manor, Alistair, Scorch, do you do anything else before you go to bed?
I fluff my feathers and then I kind of perch around on the bed and fall.
Okay.
No, I don't think Scorch will do anything in particular.
Okay. I assume you all take your armor off, clean it, go over it before you all go to bed.
I am the armor.
Of course you are.
Well, Scorch literally is the armor, so he can't take that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just assume Scorch goes into low power mode, all his arms and legs like stick
Scorch
all together.
polishes himself, and I take a bath.
Takes out a bit of a Brillo pad and starts scrubbing his armpit.
Yep.
So
I just figured you just brush up against the corner of the wall and just shed your scales.
I don't want to rub a hole in the wall.
one by one, you all come to your bit of rest and drift off to sleep. All except for you, Adelum. You begin pouring through the notes as you spend your time going through all the notes, and you learn about the continent, this wild continent of Zendrick, which is a continent which is mostly jungle, crisscrosses of wild rivers that twist this way and that way, a few bits of area that are a bit more of a dessert quality, or desert quality, not dessert, because that would be delicious.
And this is not delicious, it's dangerous.
You learn of an ancient civilization when giant kind ruled Zendrick, and that they enslaved a race of elves known as the Drow and used their slave labor amongst a few other races that are typically not seen very often, like the Goliath race, for example. And you learn that the giants found these ruins which were constructed over much older ruins. That their temples that were built for them were typically built over a previously constructed ruin or city. You also learn a bit about the giants and how they taught the Drow elves how to bind the elements into things. And that there is a rumor that you read within the notes, you see a few scrawl marks that mention that giants have been rumored to be the source of many elemental binding practices that are used today in modern Corvair. And you also learn about a place called the Obsidian City, which is a place that you've heard of in your travels. But you had also heard that no one has been to the Obsidian City in quite some time. And in fact, you can't think of the last time you heard of something saying that had gone to the Obsidian City, even to visit. But you also see that there is, within Lady Eladrin's notes, you can see that your destination, potentially, of where that you could make birth within the edges of the continent before heading into the continent proper to head towards this ruin, is a port city. And it's called Stormreach.
Do I know anything about Stormreach?
You just know that it's a trading town, from your general knowledge of Zendrick. It's a port trading town. It's essentially one of the only bastions, to your knowledge, of civilization within Zendrick. And that's pretty much all you learn within your notes. As you read through the notes, you're able to get bits and pieces here and there describing giant kind, their culture, of how the various species of giants actually coexisted as one within Zendrick before the fall of their civilization.
In the notes, do you by any chance find anything descriptive about the skimmers, of how they look, how you can tell them apart from one another?
Kedron's notes refer that besides having an obsidian-like texture, that each of the skimmers, the way that they're shaped, the tablets, they have negative space areas within them. They almost resemble keys. And they, from the description and a small drawing of the creation pattern itself, you can see where there are 4 slots within the creation pattern where these skimmers slide into. And as they slide into, the negative spaces fill in from the other bits of the other skimmers as they slide into and connect together. But all of the parts, including the creation pattern, appear to all be made from the same material, this strange obsidian-like stone.
There's no notes of any activation ceremony or phrases?
None within that hour and a half that you're able to discern at this time. You're able to skim through and get a lot of information of a bunch of different topics. But the actual usage and application of the schemas and the creation pattern are pretty vague in these notes. It almost appears as though Kedron didn't really know how that works. Like a lot of it seems to be guesswork. And of course, you would know that House Cannith, many of the technologies that they brought to be, the Warforged, for example, were based on ancient tablets and ancient societies. The Warforged, the Genesis Forges themselves, that was all based on discovered archaeological digs of societies that have come and gone.
Okay. Going into whatever room I'm in, I make sure the room is completely pitch black before I go to bed.
Okay. Myrrh is just kind of padding around the mattress wherever you decide to bed down for the night, and does a couple of turns this way and that way, and then nestles in close to your head before you go to sleep.
I rest up.
And Scorch, one of these days we're going to have to talk about your pet that you haven't introduced to the party yet. Or did you forget about that?
We'll talk about him eventually.
Okay. I don't think
Did he have a pet on him?
He's keeping secrets.
I thought maybe you forgot about him.
I didn't forget about him. I just thought that maybe it was just for show and you didn't give him to me. But
oh no, you still have him. He's been with you this whole time. He's been hiding somewhere on you.
He's been hiding from Twinkle.
What do you think he's been hiding this whole time? Because he looks kind of like a cat.
Is it just me, or is Twinkle the scariest rogue we've ever played with?
She puts the hobo and murder hobo.
Yeah.
So
I haven't taken notes like that in ages. It's elementary.
So, at this point, I would say that we've come to a pretty good stopping point. As you all bed down for the evening, you all drift off to your places of rest within the upper levels of the Troll Skull tap room.
As Fantasy Ground starts to crash.
As Fantasy Ground starts to crash. And that is where we will come to a stop for tonight.
Dicks, 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 and double dicks.
Thank you for that.